Hey guys, I'm gonna be doing some canning. It is Monday morning and the house is a mess. We still have to do school. I haven't even showered yet, so I look terrible. But I wanted to do some canning because we've got tons of tomatoes and there's been a horrible canning supply shortage. I've been having a hard time finding the supplies that I need. So I was able to locate some, because I have tons of jars. I just need the lids, just the lids. I don't need rings or anything. But I was able to find some at the store that came with the little half-pint jars, which I didn't really need, but I figured I can use those like for making apple butter later on this season, or like even little juice cups or the kids cups since they're really durable glass. But I've been having a hard time finding lids, and I did find some online. I'm a brand snob and I like Ball brand the best because I've had bad experiences with like the mainstay, I think it is Walmart brand. So I was looking all over online because nobody here has it locally, and I found some online on Amazon. And I ordered it. It said it was a Ball brand, and it gave me the shipping notification, and I looked and said it's from China. Ball is made in USA, so I was able to contact Amazon and get my money back. So if you fall scam to anything on Amazon, then make sure you contact them. You can get your money back because Ball's made in USA, not in China. So I found another website online that was claiming to be official. I think they may have even used Ball's pictures, but it actually showed that they were made in USA. So I ordered some, and as soon as I got shipping, it said they were from China. I was like, no, this website is misleading. So I ended up contacting them through their contact page, and the email came back as like, there's no domain name as that. And I was like, okay, this is weird. So thankfully I paid through PayPal, and I was able to get their PayPal email address from PayPal. And so I contacted them and I'm like, hey, you guys are misleading. This is not what I thought I was buying. And they're like, oh, sorry, we can't refund because we already shipped it, but you know, wait till you get it, you might like it. And I emailed back, I was like, it's not a matter of whether I'm going to like it or not. It's a problem because I thought I was buying something made in USA and it's coming from China. They never replied back. So thankfully I paid with PayPal, so I can open a PayPal claim. I don't know if I can submit the PayPal claim until I actually receive it, but it said like 20 days it could take to get here because it's coming from China. So I'm super frustrated. I may just try to contact PayPal and see if I can do that anyways, because I'm not going to use those canning lids. I do not trust canning lids from China. I only trust the Ball brand. However, I did find some online. It is the U-Line brand. I took the sticker off, so, or I took the packaging off, so it ripped the sticker. But U-Line, they do sell Ball brand on their line. It's just uline.com. But it says they're out of stock till December. It first said October, and then I signed in on October to see, and then now it says out of stock till December. So I was like, I need to can. I can't go around to every store here and just buying jars with the lids because they don't need jars. So I thought I would just try these, and a lot of people said they were really good. I am disappointed. Oh, it did say they were made in USA, BPA free, so they follow the FDA standard. I am kind of disappointed. I got 2 packs just to try out, and one of the lids came this way and it's bent, so I can't use that one. I don't think I'm going to contact them because these are such a good price. Like, this is practically like 20 cents or something like that, or 25, or maybe not even 25 cents, maybe 10 cents. It's not really worth it. It sucks because I'm out of lid. So anyways, we're going to give these a try. Hopefully they work out good because I don't have any other options. If I do like them, I'll probably order some more. But anyways, we're going to be canning salsa, tomato sauce, and pickles today. So here is all of our tomato harvest that I've got. I picked these yesterday. Some of them aren't quite as ripe because they look a little redder out in the sun, and then once you bring them inside, you're like, ooh, these are not quite as ripe. So I'm gonna let these sit out. I'm gonna go through and get the ones that are not ripe and just let them sit out. And then yesterday I had some more, and I went ahead and I just juiced them, and I labeled my lids. So there's 10 cups in here, 2.5 quarts, so that way I don't have to measure it out again. And I just juiced these yesterday, and we'll just add to it. It'll be fine. I'm setting up my tomato strainer thing here, which I'll show you more in detail what it is in a minute, but I love using this thing. That way I don't have to boil the tomatoes to get the skins off. So I'm just gonna go through all the tomatoes and take the little stems off and then wash them. And the ones that aren't quite ripe, I'm gonna set aside and just let them ripen up on the counter. So I got all my tomatoes washed. Look at all those delicious tomatoes. And then I have this here. This is an off-brand Victoria strainer. It has a salsa screen here. And so all I'm gonna do is quarter up the tomatoes and put them in the hopper. We punch them down and you crank it through. Your juice comes out here, and your pulp that you discard or put in your compost goes in here. And this is the brand here, the Sauce Master. I've had this for probably 10 years. My mother-in-law had one, and when we first got married and I started canning, I used hers and I was like, oh, I want my own. So they got it for me for Christmas and it's been great. So that's what we're gonna do. And I've got all of these tomatoes here. So these ones here are all the Roma tomatoes. And then we also have the beefsteak tomatoes, which is what this whole container is filled with. And then these are the ones that aren't quite ripe enough yet. So I'll just probably make like a homemade pico de gallo sauce with these in a couple days when those are ripe. So I'm not sure how many of these I'm gonna juice. I'll probably keep out some of the really nice ones for our sandwiches and stuff, because we literally cannot eat this many tomatoes. But these are like juicier. So I'll probably use these for like the soups, so canned soups, and then save these for the salsa because these are a little bit meatier and not quite as juicy. Every once in a while I have to take a spoon and just kind of scrape the screen down just to keep the tomatoes from clogging up, just to make sure we get all that yummy tomato goodness. My container here is just about full, so I'm going to go ahead and measure it out here. My salsa recipe calls for, well, 30 cups of pureed tomatoes, but it doesn't fit in here, so I just divide my recipe safely and do 20 cups. So I can just adjust the recipe super easy by doing 20 cups. So I already have 10 in there, so I just need 10 more cups here. So that was 8 cups, so now I just need to do 2 more cups. So I've got all my tomatoes done, and what I like to do is I like to just take a handful of this pulp and I send it back through, and basically all that does is push the tomato pieces that should come out here that are stuck in the little twirly thing, whatever that thing is, the auger. And so basically, I mean, none of that skin is going to come in here, but it's just going to push all that pulp through that needs to come through here. So I'm just gonna crank that. You can see it coming out the other side, and we just got to make sure that we get all of that good tomato stuff here. And if skins do come through, you can just pull them out, but we usually don't get too many. So I'm just gonna scrape this off, and then I'll finish measuring and set this aside for the juice I'm gonna can for soup. So I decided to go ahead and juice up the beefsteak tomatoes since I already had this strainer out and dirty. So I'm just going to set that aside, and I don't know if I'll get to it today or not, but this here that I'm juicing is the beefsteak tomatoes and not the Roma. So I am juicing the beefsteak tomatoes, and you can see it's a lot juicier or a lot waterier. So this is what we're going to use for soups and chilies and stuff like that. Now the fun part is taking this apart and cleaning it up, and there are parts on here that will rust if I don't wash and dry them thoroughly right away. So that is the only not fun thing about this, but I've taken really good care of it over the last 10 years and it's still in great shape. Compost. I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and I ended up with, so I have 20 cups of the tomato puree for the salsa, and then I have 3 quarts in here, and then let's see how much we have in here. Okay, so this will make 4 quarts of salsa or tomato juice for soups, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the bigger jars so that way, because if I did it in the smaller jars, then I would have 8 half quarts or half pint, or the pint, sorry, 8 pints with 8 lids, whereas this would be 4 quarts with 4 lids. So I'm better utilizing my lids for this. So I'm gonna set this aside, I'm gonna clean this up, and then I will get you back in here when I've got everything ready to go. So I've got my pot here, and I need to bring this to a boil while I add all my other ingredients. So this is my salsa recipe, and I just want to say that you want to make sure you use a safe, approved canning recipe. When you're talking about canning, you want to make sure that you are following all the safe rules. Don't just find a recipe on Pinterest and use it. I would recommend using the Ball canning book. I think they have several hundred recipes in there that are safe. They've been tested. Also, my pressure canner, I have the Presto one. It came with a book and with recipes in there, and so you want to make sure that you're doing something safe. I realized that a couple of years ago when I first started canning, I wasn't doing everything 100% safe, and so instead of saying, you know, oh well, we've been doing it for years and you know we never got sick, we're just fine. No, you don't want to follow that logic. For canning, my theme or my motto in life is know better, do better. I know I wasn't doing it 100% properly, so now I can do better. And now I'm making sure that I'm doing it 100% safe. So whenever you're canning, you want to make sure you're doing it 100% safe. So I'm going to get all my stuff chopped up. So outside in our garden, we have a banana pepper plant, and I like those better than the jalapenos because they're not as spicy. But those all ripened before the tomatoes, so I'm out of peppers, so I actually had to go to the store and get some jalapenos. So I'm not going to do as many as the recipe says because I don't like spicy salsa, and I'm definitely not going to do any of the seeds. Now it's not going to really pose a problem because if you're using less peppers, then that's fine, but if you're adding like more peppers than what they say, it's gonna throw off the balance and stuff. So using less is okay, but all the rest of the stuff I'm just gonna follow. So I'm gonna run out to the garden really quick and check and see if we have any banana peppers out there. We might have a few. I'm also gonna pick some bell peppers because my recipe also calls for bell peppers. So let's go outside real quick before we get chopping, and let's see what is out in our garden. So here's our garden. I did a garden tour a while ago. The corn is done. The beans, something happened to the beans and they all shriveled up. We did get quite a few green beans, not enough to can, but I think I'm gonna go through and pull these out because they're not really producing anymore. I think a fungus took over. And then over here's our big tomato bush. We have like 20 tomato plants in here. Next year we're gonna spread it out even more, and we're gonna have them all in cages. We didn't have enough cages this year, but our pepper plants are over here. And our cherry tomato kind of took over our banana pepper plant. So let's see if we have any banana peppers. I think we do. So we've got one here. It's kind of small. We can just go ahead and keep that one. All right, let's see. I don't know. Oh, another one. Oh, that one's a little bit bigger. Don't take that one. Take, yeah, the bigger one. And we'll just chop those up.
What are the purple ones for?
The purple ones? There's a purple one? And then here, we've got a pepper here, a big one. Let's see, do we have any more pepper plants? Our tomatoes kind of overtook our peppers. So like I said, next year we're gonna have an even bigger garden with more room. So let's see here, you wanna hold that? All right, so I found 3 peppers. Look at this beautiful pepper, and this one too. This one kind of started changing colors. And then 2, you wanna hold it? Okay, you can hold it. We gotta wash them off. And then we've got 2 banana peppers. So now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna chop everything up and add it to my pot and make the salsa. So I've got all of my peppers in here, and like I said, I do not put the seeds in because they're too spicy. I'm a wimp and I'm boring. I don't like spicy salsa. So I've got my onions, my 2 little tiny banana peppers in there, and then the rest is jalapenos. And I don't wear gloves when I do jalapenos because I very carefully take out the seeds with a knife in the sink. But I did have, when I was cutting the jalapenos, I did have some of the juice squirt up in my eye. So now my eye burns just a little bit. So maybe you should wear protective eyewear when cutting that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do the onions. Got my onions in here, and my eyes are burning because I cut up 5 onions, and now I'm just gonna do garlic. I don't already have peeled garlic or like the minced garlic in the refrigerator, so I've got to do garlic cloves. For my seasonings, I like to use oregano, cumin, and dried cilantro. Okay, so I think I have everything. So now I'm just gonna bring this to a boil and let it simmer for 10 minutes. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get my jars ready, and I'm gonna get my water bath canner all set up to go because it takes a long time for it to boil. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'll bring you back when I've got it all done. This is the pressure canner that I have. I got it off of Amazon probably like 7 or 8 years ago, and I like it because it has the little dial here. You don't have to like count the jiggles to make sure that it's at the right pressure. You can do this as a water bath. Over here, so I've got it all set up, and it's just discolored on the bottom. It's not pitted, so it's still safe to use. You can use this as a water bath canner for the pint jars, but you can't do it with the quart jars because once they get in there, the water has to be an inch over the top. And so if you have one of the bigger ones, like the taller ones, you can definitely use it as a water bath canner. But apparently I just learned that you are not supposed to can salsa in the quart jars, and you're supposed to do it in the pint jars. So that's one thing I've always done in the past. I've done, because we'll open this up and eat the whole thing in one sitting. But now I know it's not safe. I'm just gonna save that for the tomato juice, and then I'm gonna do this, and I can do the water bath canning in here. So I've got this slowly heating up because you don't want it to bring it to a full boil before you put your jars in. I've got my hot water boiling here and in the kettle, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up my clean jars with hot water because you want to get the jars nice and hot before you put your salsa in. And then back here I've got my salsa. Oh, it looks like it's just about boiling. So I'm going to turn it down to a simmer and let it simmer for 10 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and fill my jars. And then over here I've got my rings and lids. These are all cleaned, and as soon as my water starts boiling over there in the kettle, I'm going to pour it in here just to get these nice and hot. And I've got my funnel and my jar lifter, which I won't need this till the end. And this is all cleaned and dried, and it's continuing to air dry just in case I missed any. So I've got all my jars here, and I'm just waiting for this to, looks like it's just about boiling. So we're just waiting on, on this. Sorry, I have poppers in my throat from breathing the air, and I've been coughing like crazy. It's like burning my lungs. So my salsa, I can't remember what it's called, is ready. So I'll just show you how I do it. Now you're definitely, again, like I said, you want to follow safe canning practices. So I have my jars hot here with water, so I'm just going to dump them out in my pan, my little pan over there, in case I need to top off my water in here. So I've got this here, and then you're going to want to fill it to a a quarter of an inch headspace.
Mommy, look at this one.
Woo!
See, I drew X's. Do you know why I drew X's? Mom, do you know why I drew X's?
Why?
It's because he knows I actually drew a big one and I meant to draw a really tiny one.
And then I just use this little citrus thing to debubble it. And if I accidentally overfill it, I've got this spoon, I can just scoop it out. So you just want to make sure you get all of the air bubbles out. So I have this clean rag here that I'm just going to wipe the rim. Make sure I get that all clean. And then I'm going to take a hot lid and ring. So I put on there, and since the jar is kind of hot, I have to hold it with a rag. And the kids are being super loud. So you just want to do it finger tight. You don't want to do it overly tight. And then you're just going to put it into your water bath canner. Okay, just a minute, honey. Let me fill these jars. Please excuse any camera jiggling, the kids who are walking under the tripod and moving the camera around. So yeah, it was not an earthquake, it was just the kids. Jars in here, and you want to make sure that they're covered at least in 1 inch of water. So if you need to add more water, just make sure you add boiling water, and that's why I always have a pot of boiling water so I can add it. I didn't need to, so I'm going to put my lid on here in a minute, and I'm going to follow the directions. It says to process for 15 minutes using the water boiling method. However, we live at about 5,000 feet, so we have to increase it by 10 minutes. So once this gets to a rolling boil, I'm going to start my process time of 25 minutes, and then I can turn it down so it's not a super hard boil, but we want to maintain a boil, and we want to make sure that the entire time it is covered in at least 1 inch of water. So halfway through I might just take the lid off and check it and make sure. So you use the pressure canning lid, you just take out the little plug here so it can vent through here, because obviously it's gonna turn into a pressure cooker if you have this plug here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put my lid on. I always have trouble getting this thing on. Okay, where do I have it? Oh, it's because I put it on the stove backwards. That's why. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put this down, and we're just going to keep an eye on this, and once it gets to a rolling boil, like I said, I'm gonna set my timer, and we're gonna let these process. So apparently I had a little bit more than I made last time, so I'm gonna go ahead, and I think this is gonna be enough for like at least 3 or 4 more jars. So once this is done, I'll just heat this back up, let it simmer for a little while, and then I'll process some more jars. So it is at a rolling boil, so I'm going to set my timer for 25 minutes. So my timer went off, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off, and then you're supposed to let it sit for 5 more minutes. I'm gonna remove it from the heat, and then we can go ahead and open it up and take the jars out. Oh, this is heavy. Oh my goodness. All right, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and use my jar lifters to very carefully take out the jars, and you wanna make sure you keep them straight up and down. I'm just sitting here, oops, on the counter on this clean towel. You wanna make sure that you don't in any way, shape, or form touch the lids at all, because as it cools, they're gonna seal, and if you accidentally touch them, they'll pop down and you won't know if it's gonna seal or not. So we'll be listening for the pings, which is my absolute favorite part of canning. It's like the best part is hearing all those little pings. Here they all are. I think you need to give them at least like 12 hours to seal before you even touch them to check on them. And then once they're all sealed, you can remove the rings, and I wipe off the lids because we have hard water, and so it leaves a little bit of a mark. So I clean that off and I write the date on there. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and cam the rest of the salsa here. I'm not gonna show you the whole process because it's just basically the same thing, but I'm gonna keep this here because it's still hot. I'll definitely need to add some more water, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get another batch going. So update on the lids here. 2 of them have already popped, and there's no buckling, and they all haven't sealed yet because we just took them out a few minutes ago, but I'm pretty happy with these lids so far. Yes, I'm still going to buy the Ball if I can. It's my preferred brand, but I think these are gonna be okay in a pinch until supply keeps up with demand. So give them a try. If you guys are interested, let me know what you think, if you have used them or if you will use them. I just thought this would be super helpful because there's just a shortage of stuff right now, and this is a great option. The only thing is they don't come in wide mouth, just a regular mouth. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm not going to show you the canning tomato juice, which I'm going to do that pressure canning. I'll save that for another video because it is 1 o'clock and we've got stuff this afternoon, and I'm just gonna hurry up and do this batch, and it's gonna take too long if I try to do everything, and I don't want this video to be super long. But anyways, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Thumbs up. She has marker on her face. That's not like cuts or anything.